Have you ever wondered why bad things seem to happen to good people? Maybe you've asked yourself, why me? Or thought, I try to live with kindness, yet life throws obstacles my way. If you felt this, you're not alone. And today, we're diving deep into this mystery. Stick with me until the end, because what you'll learn could change the way you see life's hardships forever. There's more wisdom in these difficult experiences than you might think, and the answer goes beyond just karma. Life can sometimes feel deeply unfair. Imagine you're someone who has spent their life trying to be compassionate, considerate, and peaceful. Then, out of nowhere, challenges hit you. Maybe financial troubles, betrayal by someone you trusted, or even a devastating loss. It feels like a betrayal by life itself. But here's where we start to dig deeper into the teachings of Buddha and what this seemingly unfair distribution of suffering is really all about. The Buddha once told a story that perfectly illustrates why it seems that good people face more challenges. The story begins with a wise king who turned towards compassion, much like many of us who aim to live with peace and kindness. However, this king found himself being exploited. People took advantage of his calm nature, and chaos unfolded in his kingdom. He went to the Buddha, troubled by why, despite his efforts to live righteously, life had become harder. This is where the Buddha's profound wisdom comes into play. He told the king a story about a venomous snake. This snake once struck out at anyone who came near, spreading fear and death. But after meeting a wise monk, the snake transformed, deciding to give up its aggression and live peacefully. However, this transformation led to unexpected suffering. The villagers, seeing that the snake was no longer a threat, began to taunt, harm, and mistreat it. The snake was left in misery, questioning whether kindness was really worth it. The snake's experience mirrors our own when we shift from a life ruled by force to one ruled by compassion. Sometimes, the world doesn't know how to respond to this new softness. People might misunderstand, take advantage, or dismiss it as weakness. But the lesson Buddha shared with the snake was this: kindness and compassion are not about letting people walk all over you. The monk clarified that while it's important to refrain from harm, it's also essential to protect yourself. Just because you've chosen the path of peace doesn't mean you should stop standing up for yourself. The snake learned that it could hiss to show strength without having to bite. This teaches us an important lesson about balance. Being good doesn't mean being passive. It's about knowing when to stand firm and when to let go. The Buddha's teachings remind us that life's difficulties, especially for those who strive to do good, are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. Now, why does it feel like good people suffer more? It might be because those who are kind and compassionate tend to feel the world's pain more deeply. As we open our hearts, we become more sensitive to the struggles around us. While this may seem like a burden, it's also the path to greater understanding and inner strength. In Buddhism, karma plays a role, but not in the simplistic way we often think. Karma isn't about you do good and only good things happen to you. It's far more complex. Karma is the natural consequence of our actions, thoughts, and intentions. Sometimes, the challenges that arise in our lives are not a direct result of something we did wrong, but rather part of the human experience of growth. These hardships are here to teach us resilience, patience, and deeper wisdom. Think of life as a book with different chapters. There will be moments of joy, chapters filled with love and success. But there will also be chapters of sorrow, pain, and difficulty. Stopping at the hard chapters, focusing only on why bad things happen, will prevent us from seeing the entire story. Just like the snake's journey didn't end with its suffering, neither do our challenges define the whole of our lives. Let's talk about something called the shadow. It's not as mysterious as it sounds. The shadow is simply the part of ourselves that holds our fears, insecurities, and unhealed wounds, things we often push away or ignore. When we don't acknowledge these parts of ourselves, they can show up in our lives as challenges or difficulties. It's like when you don't clean a room for a long time. Eventually, the mess will start to cause problems. But instead of seeing these hardships as punishments, we can view them as mirrors reflecting the inner work we need to do. Bad things happening to good people may be a call to deeper self-awareness. When we acknowledge and work through our shadow, we find that many of the difficulties we face are not there to break us, but to build us. In life, suffering is not something to be avoided at all costs. Instead, it's something to learn from. By shifting our perspective, we can see challenges not as punishments, but as opportunities for growth. This shift can turn even the most difficult moments into powerful tools for transformation. When we experience hardships, we are given the opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world. We learn to navigate life's complexities with grace and wisdom, much like the snake who learned to protect itself without causing harm. So, why do bad things happen to good people? Perhaps it's not because the universe is unfair or indifferent, but because these experiences are meant to refine us, to help us grow beyond the surface level of our existence. They teach us how to be strong in our compassion, wise in our kindness, and resilient in our peace. Before we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question. The next time life throws a challenge your way, will you see it as an unfair burden or as a stepping stone to becoming a stronger, wiser version of yourself? Keep this in mind as you explore the rest of our videos on how to find peace and growth in life's toughest moments. Thank you